Hey there and welcome back to the channel. I got my coffee and I'm ready to go for another weekend of fun little projects around the workshop. So I'm going to make a twin brother for the mini upper cabinets, which I made last episode. If you haven't seen it, there's a link up in the corner above. Super simple to make. Anyone can do it within a few hours. So it took me about 3 or 4 hours and I had to move the camera around and all that stuff. So if I could do it, you can definitely do it. I also bought some melamine from Bunnings just this morning in preparation for that. Also bought some hydraulic stays. I haven't used these ones before, so I'm quite keen to give these a try so we can learn together as we go along. There's a left-hand side and a right-hand side, and it looks pretty straightforward looking at the instructions, so let's stuff it up together, I suppose. I did buy some more of these little plastic tubs to put away in those little cubbies up in those upper cabinets. And I have some painting to do as well. So those little hydraulic stays are going to go on the doors. They're going to go actually up instead of like the upper cabinets behind me, which the doors actually go out to the side. These ones are going to go up and out of the way. I think will be quite cool and something different as well. It is starting to get a little bit colder here in Melbourne. So there's certain mornings I'll come into the workshop and my hands will be a little bit cold and I'll take a little while to warm up. So I bought myself a little heater off Amazon. I think it was like 50 bucks or 40 bucks or something like that. Came with these little brackets to mount on the wall. So my plan is to mount it maybe on the ceiling or maybe just on that center beam next to the air cleaner, and just to kind of just take the edge off the cold in here. Usually it's pretty warm in here because there is insulation, so the warmth tends to stay inside, which is quite nice. So once I'm in here for an hour or two, the warmth gets trapped, but that heater will just take the edge off. And I think that's pretty much it. So first thing I do need to do though is I need to clean up, because I'm looking at quite the mess, and I have my dumping corner, which I've deliberately kept off camera, and I've strategically placed the camera every single episode so you don't see the mess behind the camera. But I'm going to show you this time because I need to clean it up, because I need to make space to get up above it and fit that upper cabinet. So it's a good excuse to just do a bit of a tidy up in my dumping corner. So let's just get straight to it, hey? So all cleaned up and it looks pretty schmick. I should have done it ages ago, but you know, lazy me. So we cut up the MDF and it put some primer on it. And the primer I'm using is British Paints Prep 4-in-1 primer, sealer, undercoat, and stain blocker. So what you'll see me doing is rolling it on, wait for it to dry, then sand it back with 400 grit sandpaper, just super lightly, just to make it nice and smooth. Clean it off again, roll on, wait for it to dry, sand it back, and then clean it off again. And then finally what I do is just 2 top coats of that Monument color by Colorbond. Easy as that. And I don't need to sand between coats on that top coat. It's a super thin, so it goes on really nice, especially with one of those nap foam rollers. It's super smooth, and yeah, you don't really do anything. It's the same color as the upper cabinets for my miter saw station. So I cut up all the melamine for the cabinets, exact same as the previous mini upper cabinets. If you want to know in depth how I did that, there's a link up in the left-hand corner, so it'll take you to that video of exactly how I built those little upper cabinets. And some of you would have noticed as I was cutting up some of the MDF, I have an Apple TV plugged into the screen here, and all I have is my SketchUp plans actually, which I've shared, taken a screenshot of in SketchUp, shared it on my iCloud photos I have an Apple TV here, which I've synced the photos up to, and I can just see it on a nice big screen and see it exactly at the same time as I'm cutting with the table saw here. I can see exactly what I need to do. So that might be something that you can do in your own workshop. Works for me, and it saves me kind of getting out a keyboard and mouse and just playing around with it a little bit too much. So next, what we need to do is just put some of the edging on. So as you're looking up at the cabinets, you don't want to see that exposed particle board or chipboard. So you just need to put a little bit of edging on it, and that's simple as that. And also what we need to do is just put in some of those pocket holes for those back supports in each one of those little cubbies. And those back supports are what I screw through and into the 15mm plywood walls that I have up on the shed. Simple as that. Now let's put it together. So I hit a slight little snag with these hydraulic stays. Turns out they need clearance as they go backwards. So when they articulate, they actually need to go down a little bit. It's only about 50mm or maybe a couple of inches, so it's super annoying. So if this thing was down like 2 more inches, like this shelf, these things will work quite well. And they're pretty sturdy. They're actually really difficult to maneuver around. So I went to plan B, and that was just your generic hydraulic stays. And I've used these before. They're super simple to mount. You don't really need a lot of geometry and, you know, a whole bunch of jigs and all that kind of thing. But they need more clearance. So this shelf needs to be removed entirely because the clearance they need is about 280 millimeters from the top down to where they need to be placed here. So that won't work. I thought about maybe recessing them in a little bit further, but it turns out if I do that, then the door itself can only open up to about 45 degrees or so. So I need a full 105 degrees all the way up so I can pull out those plastic tubs. So went to plan C. So plan C is cut those doors that I have in half and just put in regular overlay hinges to have them coming out like this. Same as those upper cabinets behind me. A bit annoying because I was kind of hoping to play around with these little things just to learn something new and different and show you guys how to do it as well. But I'll save that for another time when I factor that into it. So I made the mistake, so you didn't have to. And let's just get on with cutting it, and I'll need to paint it, mount it, and all that kind of stuff. Now I just need to repeat that 7 more times and put the cabinet up on the wall. So let's get to it. So cabinet's ready to go. I need to put it up on the wall, but first things first, I need to get all this junk and mess out of the way so I can easily get to it. I'm not trying to lean over it, and it's a little bit unsafe. So I'm gonna pop a laser level up, put the plywood up again, screw it to the wall, something to have that cabinet rest on while I mount it and screw it to the 15mm plywood I have behind. I might pop a little bit of timber up here just to kind of make it nice and level and easier to have something to rest on. So let's get to tidying up a little bit. Oh man, that was a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. But now it's up. It's not 100% level, which is a bit annoying. It's probably off by maybe a couple of millimeters on the right hand side there. But it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Maybe I can adjust the cupboard faces a little bit, but we'll see. Cool. So now I've got to do the other side with the faces. And we'll get to that. Whew, tough work. Right, so that's this one done. It's actually come up pretty good. This cupboard door doesn't close quite properly, which is really annoying. So I need to play around with the hinges in the back, but I can do that a little bit later on. Now it's time to move on to number 2. So what I've done, as you can see, I've moved the table saw and all that stuff out of the way so I can easily get up there. And all I need to do is just do the same thing as I did with these ones, drill the holes for the overlay and half overlay hinges, mount them up, adjust it a little bit. So let's get on with it. And just like that, we're done. Super simple, actually. The thing that took me the longest is frustrating. These hinges, they have these little set screws. You can adjust things up and down, left and right, inside and out, just to make sure all the doors line up. So they're visually all lining up nice and neatly. They are now, which I'm pretty happy about. But that took probably longer than it did to actually make these things in the first place. So that's super frustrating. And the other thing you'll notice that these edges here still need some paint, but I think I might paint them when I'm doing something else as not to waste a lot of paint, because it's not cheap these days. Anyway, got these little plastic tubs. I want to fill it with junk I probably don't need anymore, but I can put it away like that, close the door, and it looks nice and neat. Like there's no mess behind those doors at all. But with that, I think I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go relax, but before I do, I'm probably going to go tidy up over there, because you don't see it, I do. It's an absolute pigsty. I got shavings all over the floor from when I was drilling out the hinges. But anyway, I won't bore you with the details. So like, subscribe and all those good things, and please do leave a comment. I really do enjoy reading every single one of the comments and responding to them as well. And I'm actually really enjoying engaging with every single person across the subscribership, if that's a word. It is now. But anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. So take care of yourselves. Bye.